Hi, is someone from the organizing team here? Hi, is someone from the organizing team here?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Matthew. I welcome you all to the finals of APCAM International Metaverse Mediation Competition 2024. I'll be the room manager for this round, and this session will be of 90 minutes, including the caucus of 10 minutes for each teams. My role here is to keep the track of time, and I'll be letting know the participants and assessors at regular intervals. That is when 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and when time is over. Now I invite the mediator and the parties to start the session.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Cutler, and it is my privilege to serve as the mediator in today's online mediation session. I would like to thank both the parties, StateX LLC and Metaverse Private Limited, for being here today and your willingness to engage in this mediation process. As we embark on this journey together, I want to emphasize the core values that guide our process: respect, collaboration, and the pursuit of understanding. Parties, can you please introduce yourself? Starting with the requesting party, please.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Olivia Hughes. I represent StateX.
A very good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Drew, and I will be representing EstateX.
Greetings, everybody. I am Yoza Ira, CEO and founder of Metaverse Private Limited. Greetings, everybody. I am David Blake, the Chief Legal Officer of Metaverse Private Limited, and I shall be representing them as the legal counsel today. Please feel free to refer to me as David.
Thank you so much, parties, for your introduction. So what is mediation? Mediation is not merely a method of conflict resolution, but it is also an opportunity for all parties to express their perspective, explore their underlying interest, and ultimately find a common ground. In this virtual space, we have the unique advantage of leveraging technology to facilitate open communication, ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. Today, I encourage every participant to approach this mediation with empathy. Understanding the emotions and motivations behind each position will be key to navigating the complexities of this dispute. Remember, our goal is not to win an argument, but to foster a solution that respects the needs of all parties involved. I want to assure that this is a safe space for dialogue. We will be here to guide our discussions, ensuring that we maintain a respectful tone and that we adhere to the principles of confidentiality and trust. I invite each of you to engage openly and honestly, knowing that your contributions are crucial to our success. As we move forward, let us keep in mind that creativity is our ally and solutions often lie beyond initial positions we present. I encourage you to think outside the box and consider innovative ways to address the concerns at hand. Together, we can transform this challenge into opportunity for growth and collaboration. In conclusion, I'm excited to facilitate this mediation and witness the constructive dialogue that will unfold. Let us embrace this opportunity to learn from one another, to divide bridges, and emerge with a solution that reflects our collective wisdom. Now, I would like to request my co-mediator, Ms. Christina, to further clarify about the mediation process.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tony, for so beautifully explaining what exactly are we here for. So first of all, good morning, everyone. My name is Ms. Christina Bain. You can refer to me as Ms. Bain. As we have been compelled to meet in an online format, there can be certain technical difficulties we might face. However, don't feel hesitant in case you come across any such issue. We'll fix it for you at the earliest. And in case you get logged out of the session, we'll not start until you come back. For this, I request the room managers to kindly pause the time until any such technical issue is resolved. First of all, we would like to thank both the parties for agreeing to mediate the differences and work towards the resolution of this dispute. That too on a Saturday morning. This just showcases your dedication to reaching a common ground. By this, we can understand that mediation acts as catalyst for positive change and fosters a constructive dialogue between the parties. In context of our issue at hand about metaverse, I would like to say that mediation is like calibrating a VR headset. The mediators adjust the settings so that both the parties and the users see the virtual world clearly. Moreover, this will be a very long session, so I request the parties to keep a glass of water ready with you. It would really help. As has been mentioned by Ms. Cutler, our role as mediators is of a neutral third party who would facilitate communication and ensure a smooth flow of conversation between the parties. We as mediators would be listening, clarifying, summarizing, and guiding you through the entire process of the mediation. However, the end results are in your hands. Despite being an open process, we as mediators have set up some ground rules that should be followed throughout the session. Both the parties are requested to ensure a formal code of conduct and avoid unparliamentary or repulsive languages towards each other. It is very important to understand the differences and be sensitive while making any kind of remarks. I also request the Council specifically to refrain from using any legal terms or jargons, as this is a client-driven process and it might not make the clients comfortable. I request the parties to avoid speaking over each other. Additionally, this session would go on for 90 minutes, in which 10 minutes are reserved for a caucus with each party, which is basically a private session between one party and the mediators, and it can be called as and when required. We will use the caucus to help clarify some concerns we may have as we talk. Either one of the parties may call a caucus as well if you feel you would like to share something in confidence. We may use the caucus any number of times during the session. If we caucus with one party, we would surely be caucusing with the other party as well. The information you share during the caucus is bound by insider confidentiality, which means anything discussed in the caucus will not be shared in the joint discussion unless you specifically give consent to such disclosure. Is there any other question the parties would like to ask?
I had one small clarification, Ms. Christina.
Yeah.
Usually a private session, is it mandatory that when one party calls for a private session, the other party also has to be in a caucus? I've heard it's usually voluntary. So if you can just clarify on that.
Indeed, it is voluntary. We would obviously be asking for your permission if you need a caucus or not. However, as we have mentioned, to ensure equality between the parties, we will be asking you whether you want to go for the caucus or not. However, the decision is in your hands. If you feel the caucus is not necessary, we might not go for it. I hope I've
Thank you.
clarified it out.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to say that we would like to keep aside 3 minutes for the conclusion of this session. Lastly, I would just like to say that you can't shake hands with clenched fists. So let us come together to this session with open hearts and open hands. Let us make the most out of this session. Now, I would ask the requesting party, that is Estate X, to go forward with their opening statements, followed by the responding party, that is Mediterranean, if they don't have any issue with it. Also, I request the parties to please pen down your interest in the order of priority in your opening statements. After finalizing the agenda, we'll add the points in the chat box for everybody's reference. Thank you so much. Requesting party, you may proceed with your opening statements. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Neil. Thank you, Tony, for talking us through the process of mediation. I believe this is the right forum for us to talk about our disagreements. And I'll be expanding on this a little later during my statement, but I just wanted to express my gratitude towards the mediators and their specific role in today's mediation session. Along with this, I also wanted to thank APCAM for arranging this mediation session in a prompt manner, given the severity of the disagreements that we face here today. As I've already mentioned, my name is Olivia Huge. I am the CEO for Estate X. We've been in the business for 14 years. Dealing with brick and mortars, and we wanted to venture into the virtual world. But before I delve into the substantive bit of my statement, I also wanted to highlight regarding some cultural differences that we may face as me and Robert, who is a dear friend and my legal counsel here today. Both of us are from Scotia, where we keep nodding to acknowledge that we are hearing you. So if and when there's an offer on the table, we'll be nodding, and that is to signify that we are hearing you. If there's any specific agreement on such offers, I'll let you know verbally as well. Other than this, we also specifically wanted to thank Yoza and David for coming here, giving us their valuable time on a Saturday morning. I believe that speaks volume of their personal interest and their personal belief in resolving this issue amicably. Uh, as I said, we've worked in the brick and mortar business for far too long. I believe we needed uh, we needed to leverage the digital era and embrace it with both hands. In light of the same, we trusted Mediterranean, and when we attended Mr. Das's speech, we were enlightened to look into the metaverse in great depth. We spent considerable resources trying to find out what the metaverse looked like, what Mediterranean's offering was, what was the land parcels being auctioned, and we spent a lot of market data talking to our clients with regards to what they would be interested in, since it is not us who would be finally be the acquirers of the property, but perhaps our clients who would at the end be receiving them. In light of the same, I think somewhere down the line, with regards to how the contract was to be executed, was we were the highest bidders, our money being stuck. I think somewhere in this process, we lost our confidence. You know, as a real estate business, it's essential for us to maintain confidence when dealing with clients on both our ends. And when we faced the issues regarding non-execution, when we couldn't find the land parcel 2332 on our digital dashboard, we were concerned. And therefore, we reached out. And perhaps somewhere along those lines, we uh, would have liked a more prompt response. But whatever's happened has made me realize that the digital world is one to embrace. I want to continue being a partner with Mediterranean in some capacity, but today I am looking for a clear refund of my initial investment. It's a cost that has been locked up with Mediterranean, and it's something that I wish to seek back. As one says in the real estate business, cash is king. And currently, I'm short of the cash that I had invested. Therefore, it's also essential for my team who has lost its confidence in relation to the research and efforts that they had put in. However, in light of the mediation session, we also have prepared a handout with a list of items that we were looking forward to discuss with. I think Robert would be the one processing the same through the chat box. Other than the above, I today want to say that we are here to resolve our issues. We are here to, and I believe from a business partner to another, it's time we roll up our sleeves and here communicate and respond to any questions or clarifications that we may both have. I think this is the right forum to ask questions and seek clarifications as to what exactly happened and how I can restore the initial investment that I had made. So in light of the same, I'd like now Robert to go over the schematics of the interests and what we are exactly seeking here today. Robert?
Thank you so much, Olivia. First of all, a very good morning, everyone. I would like to thank Ms. Christina Bain and Mr. Tony Cutler for having, explained us the structure of the mediation session in intricate details. I would also like to extend our very, very gratefulness towards Miss Yoza and Mr. David Blake for having invited us to this mediation table today. And today we are definitely in agreement that APCAM has given us this platform to, work with the robust mediation framework with reasonable timeframes, which is the essence of the dispute at hand. That being said, I am here to represent Estate X, a pioneering real estate company that has continuously pushed its boundaries of innovation since 2010. I would also like to state that at this heart of mediation lies a shared vision, a belief that the metaverse represents the next frontier in real estate. I would also like to say that this is the point at which innovation and opportunity converge. EstateX has entered this space not merely as a participant, but as a trailblazer, aiming to set new standards with every passing day. I would also like to congratulate both the parties here that with this mutual passion of theirs, they are here to reconciliate rather than breaking apart. I would also like to state that I'm here in an advisory capacity, and all the decision-making power lies in my client's capacity, since all the decisions that will be made here would greatly affect both the clients. That being said, I would also like to reiterate the confidentiality clause that has been already mentioned by our mediators. Please feel free to speak your heart out, as the non-disclosure agreement has been signed by me and my client, and I hope the other party has done that as well. I would like to broadly set out the agenda for today's mediation. Ms. Yoza and Mr. David, we can obviously combine our agendas together and then put it together later. I'll be mentioning the same in the chat as well. So it is a threefold agenda. The first one being analysis of the technical glitch and determination of the compensation. The compensation that we are seeking for here would be a refund of 300,000 Terra tokens valued at the price of 2.2 million US dollars. This is the evaluation wherein the arbitration proceedings started. And second agenda point being consideration of an alternative relief due to the loss of possession of land 2332. And the third one being exploration of future opportunities and collaborative ventures. Lastly, I would like to reiterate, if there are any cultural differences, please feel free to communicate if you're feeling uncomfortable, or if you feel that something is unclear in a language that has been spoken here. I would also like to say that this collaboration would not only bolster the digitalization efforts of both entities, but also set a precedent for the future of virtual real estate. For this very same, like Miss Olivia has already mentioned, we've sent out our handout as well. You can view the same. And therefore, today we should not look at this as a problem, but as an opportunity to solve a dispute. And let's not both the parties get obstructed by past events, but rather pick up the pieces and move towards in a direction of a prosperous future. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
I would now like to request the respondent party to please begin with their opening statement and what they expect to achieve from this mediation process.
Thank you so much, Tony. I would just like to confirm if I'm perfectly visible and audible to everyone in the room right now. Thank you. A very good morning again, everybody present here. First and foremost, I will take this opportunity to appreciate Olivia and Robert for requesting this mediation. David and I were elated to know that you've chosen this path. I believe this way both our companies can sit across each other and discuss our future together rather than let a third party dictate the terms of our relationship. My belief in this process is strengthened thanks to Ms. Christina and Ms. Tony. I am sure that your presence here will today direct the negotiations in a positive and productive direction. While all of you may know me as the CEO of Metaterrain, I am a computer scientist first and a business person second. My aim for the past decade has been to turn virtual into reality. And for this purpose, me and my team have worked very hard to develop a dynamic virtual reality platform where real meets virtual and brings to us what we today know as the Metaverse. On this platform, our users can trade virtual parcels of land, And Miss Olivia, our platform is one of a kind, where we've developed unique codes for blockchain integrations, user interactions, land valuation algorithms, and smart contract models. But I hope you understand that in this very competitive market, with all this innovation comes the responsibility to protect it. Now, I will briefly summarize for you, Miss Olivia, the events that, to my understanding, have led to this mediation. So, on the 28th of October 2022, we organized an auction for certain virtual land parcels, including the one in question here, that is 2332. Now, how our auction process works is that the bidder first converts their US dollars into Terra tokens. Terra tokens are the native currency of our platform, Metaterrain, through which the bidder bids the smart contract on the platform. However, the execution of this contract is dependent on certain computational resources called gas. Now, a bidder has to employ certain sufficient amount of gas units for the contract to be executed. However, we did receive a fairly larger number of bidders than we were expecting. And Olivia, your company's bid could not be executed through the contract because there was an insufficient amount of gas provided. While we understand how this may, how this failed transaction may have caused confusion and frustration, unfortunately, once we have transferred the land to a buyer, the transaction cannot be reversed. But more than this allotment issue, what is hurting our company right now is the continued dispute between us. I echo your concern of ending the dispute between us by using today's opportunity and this process which is so future oriented. So to be completely honest, Olivia, discords have arisen within the ranks of my organization, which I'm sure you understand is the most dangerous kind of risk for a company at this growing stage. So today, I am looking forward to explore solutions through which we can both do good the financial and reputational losses our companies are suffering. This will include any future collaboration potentials. Like I've seen in your handout, you see that we can collaborate on educational initiatives, which I think is a very good idea. And since Olivia, you were indeed our highest bidder, and we don't just want you as a participant on our platform, we want you as our partner. So we do share a vision of getting the first mover advantage in the virtual real estate arena and becoming industry leaders. Additionally, I'd like to add that I think both of us share the culture of nodding, and we will be doing that as well. And if there's anything we would like to confirm, there will be a verbal confirmation. So would you like to add anything to this, David?
Certainly, Yoza. Before I begin, of course, I have to extend my thanks to both the mediators, Mr. Tony and Christina, for explaining the process so succinctly. I think we both are confident that in your guidance, we'll be able to reach an amicable solution. At the same time, I would also like to extend my gratitude to Olivia and Robert for inviting us to this mediation session. I think it allows us to both recognize that we want to solve our concerns in a time-efficient and cost-effective manner. Having said that, I establish here on that I'm here only in an advisory capacity, and any decision-making power is solely reserved with Yoza. I echo Yoza's concerns that the incorrect allotment of the land parcel number 2332 definitely had an adverse impact on the reputation and business of both our companies. However, due to our legal policy and our terms of use, once we immediately got to know about this issue that occurred, we understood that it was a reversion of the smart contract that was executed to the second highest bidder, that is Crimson Constructions, is not possible from our end. However, users are realizing that it definitely is a huge setback to a company. We offered a refund of 300,000 Terra tokens at the valuation of 1.5 million US dollars, which was the valuation at which the cryptocurrency was initially. our surprise, however, not only was the offer rejected, but you at Estatex LLC also instituted arbitration proceedings under APCAM. Now, having said that, I want us both to realize that at the heart of the discussion today lies a shared vision of two successful companies to revolutionize the virtual real estate sector. However, this cannot happen if this dispute between these two successful companies is ongoing. And I want to be straightforward here and let you all know, and I'm echoing Yosa's sentiments here, that although we really look forward to benefiting from the advantages of this future-oriented mediation process, our main priority today is to try and reduce the impact that this dispute is having on us. And therefore, we want this to end. And thus, if in an unfortunate situation, the mediation session does not work, we would still be inclined to going on with the ongoing parallel arbitration proceedings. But that comes with the rider that we are here with an open mind. We still want to become industry leaders and we want you to participate in that process. Keeping these interests in mind, my client, Yosa here, would like to, with an open mind, of course, discuss two main issues on the table today. Firstly, fair remedies for the loss that incurred on both our sides. And secondly, trying to find fair solutions for the strained relationship that exists between Estatex LLC and Metaverse due to this ongoing dispute. I look forward to having a fruitful session.
I would like to bring in a quick summary for the requesting side, as I believe a lot has been put on the table right now. So, and the responding party summarizing will be done by my co-mediator. So I really applaud the cultural differences that you have emphasized, and I really appreciate that you are taking everything into consideration. Moreover, the issue at hand is certainly regarding the technical glitch that has happened with the allocation of land parcel #2332, and that is the reason we are here today. So just to quickly summarize on what exactly the requesting party wants is, they want to engage with Metaverse in various ways, out of which they have stated 2 to 3 important points that they specifically want, which is analysis of technical glitch and compensation. Also, they have mentioned in the file that they have sent that additional compensation beyond the refund as well. So I think that can be discussed as well, which is with respect to extra dynamic tokens or other virtual assets. Also, they have emphasized regaining confidence, and due to which they have also emphasized future collaborations with Metaverse. Moreover, the second agenda, which I would like to state that they mentioned, was consideration of alternative opportunities due to the loss of #2332, and the third one being the future collaborations, as I mentioned. Have I given a fair summary, or should I add something else? All right. I would hand over the mic to Ms.
Thank you so much, Christina, for clarifying the requesting party summary. So as to what I understood from both the sides is I heard a word shared vision from both the council. And I'm very happy that at least there is a common ground for future collaboration. And I'm sure by the end of this session, we will come to a solution for both the parties. And I truly understand that there is significant financial as well as reputational interest at stake for both the parties. So to say what responding parties have told is they aim to turn virtual into reality, therefore the metaverse. And they are looking for a partnership relation with the requesting party, as well as they want a really cost-effective as well as time-efficient collaboration in future. And right now, their main priority is to end this dispute in a very peaceful settlement, and they've come here with a very open mind. And the key issues they want to discuss is a fair remedy to both the parties, as well as fair solution to this ongoing problem. Is there anything I've missed, Ms. Yosa, Ila, and Mr. David Blake?
No, I think you've covered it.
Okay, thank you.
With this, I think we can proceed with finalizing the final agendas that we have at hand. So for this, I would like to suggest, and of course, I'm open to suggestions from both of the parties as well. So first agenda, I think, can be the most important issue that the parties are here for today, and the compensation and the refund analysis of what the issue was. So the first agenda being, and I'm adding that in the chat box as well. Analysis of the technical glitch and the compensation that both the parties are ready to discuss upon. Does that work for both of the parties? Great. And second, I believe, as they had mentioned, as the responding party had mentioned, solutions for other collaborations as well and other issues also that have arisen. So I think we can club this with the future collaborations as one of the agendas. So will they be fine with this? All right. And as an additional issue had been mentioned by the requesting party, which was consideration for alternative opportunities. So we can add this at the third point. Will that be okay with both of the parties? Great. Now I open the stage for
Does
the
this
discussions and
include? I'm so sorry to interrupt, Christina.
no, please go
I
ahead.
needed a clarification on whether these alternative remedies come under future collaborations as well.
I think the
Can we
alternative,
do
we
that,
can
Olivia?
add the,
Is that a
yeah,
thing you
please go
would
ahead.
consider, Olivia? How about we discuss alternative remedies in our future collaboration solutions? Because I think
Right,
they overlap.
that sounds good. That sounds good. That does overlap.
Yes, so I'll add it as sub-point in the future collaborations then. Perfect. Now I open the stage for both of the parties to start their negotiations. Please go ahead.
Just to clarify, the requesting party is demanding 3,000 Terra tokens with an evaluation of the current rate, I mean the rate of arbitration, which was 2.2 million USD.
Right,
Okay.
that's right. 2.2 million USD as of 15th July, wherein the arbitration proceedings commenced. Yeah.
Yes. So, is it okay if I ask the responding party what is the monetary value that you're ready to offer to the requesting party?
Before we did that, I also had an additional question in relation to the same, so that can be answered together. I heard the phrase fair compensation, so I just wanted to learn a bit more about what would be the fair compensation that user and David had in mind as well.
I think we're open to negotiating on this, Olivia, but I do want you to consider certain alternatives that we can offer you instead of giving you an appreciated amount. I see that you wish to venture into the virtual world, and I would like to propose to you certain ideas where you can invest in our platform, if that is something you're willing to hear.
Right. Thank you so much, Yoza, for your proposal. However, I was just seeking a clarification since the collaborative venture that we are obviously interested in and the compensation, they're two different agendas. So essentially, our point was to highlight whether the quantum of compensation, the financial compensation, is Meta Terrain in a position to offer, and if yes, then to what extent? If you could let us know that. Yeah.
Certainly. Robert, since we offered the refund immediately after the issue was communicated to us, it was at the value of 1.5 million US dollars. Now, not to play the blame game, but the decision to bypass good faith negotiations and invoke an arbitration was a decision solely taken by StateX. So as a business, I'm sure you understand, Olivia, this is not a cost that I can keep bearing, if the dispute stretches. So today we are willing to provide you a compensation of 1.5 million US dollars, but at the same time, I understand that you may have lost certain opportunity costs. And to cover them, I am willing to explore potential investment options. So therefore, I feel that this comes under the first agenda. Is there anything, David, you'd like to add?
Yes, I would. And I think just to clarify the position of Yoja here, what we are saying is that we cannot go beyond offering a refund of 1.5 million US dollars. That is going to be our cap. However, we recognize that there is an appreciation or the loss that has occurred on your end. So we are trying to offer alternative solutions that can cover this
difference in value between what you're asking and what we are asking.
Certainly, and I hear and appreciate on the fact that there is a number on the table from your end as well, and I think that is something we're open to negotiating further. I think further value can be added, as you mentioned, through our future collaborations, and purely talking on the numbers since the numbers and collaborative projects. I think Robert and I also had one of our proposals in relation to how we can extract further value from our partnership. But before I did that, I also wanted to just put it on the table that we're not here to play the blame game. We don't want to engage in a discussion where we keep talking about what exactly happened when, and to an extent where what amount was due at what point. I realized the communications and I've gone over the documentation as well. But at the same time, I also understand the schematics of blockchain to a certain extent. I think Yosa is definitely the subject matter expert here. But at the same time, I feel the value addition is something that can be achieved through future collaborations. Uh, but understanding on the same point, I'd like to talk a bit more about how we can reach so the number that we were previously placing about 2.2. Well, I appreciate your offer and would like you to hold on to it until you can hear our collaborative ideas as well, so that we can both reach that number together. I realize this is a financial constraint for you as well, but at the same time, I believe after having have my money uh, restored for such a long period with the company, it's only fair that I be able to restore some of the lost opportunities. And as you said, you're clearly willing to engage in such discussions. So Robert and I just wanted to also talk about a certain partnership where, so to be really frank, we have clients who have definitely engaged with us in relation to buying virtual properties as well, in addition to brick and mortar houses. So we have clients who want to engage with uh, your platform. And in light of the same, we'd be willing to solicit clients for you as well. However, in relation to the same, we'll be also willing to take a certain part, a certain commission for engaging such clients with you as well, should you be open to such an idea. And I think such commission rate would help us bridge the gap from 1.5 to 2.2. But I think Robert might be the better person to go over the exact schematics of what I propose here. Robert, could you please go over the same?
Right. Thank you so much, Olivia. I believe that Olivia has clearly, stated broadly speaking the initiative that we are seeking. In summation, it's essentially going to be a commission-based based business that we are seeking. So so essentially, like 30% would be the commission that we would be giving for each virtual land parcel that would be sold. And we, like Olivia has already mentioned, we have like a couple of clients already lined up for investments. So I believe this is something that we are, able to propose. And we would like to collectively know what is Yosa's and David's, comments on the same.
Just before Ms. Yosa proceeds, so sorry to interject. I believe after the discussions and after understanding the interests, and not rather focusing on the issue at hand, we are focusing on the interests of the parties. I believe the interests are more towards the agenda two, which are the future collaborations and considerations of alternative opportunities. So that is the reason I believe we have moved away a bit from the compensation part. But I believe that if we discuss the second agenda, we will definitely directly be able to discuss the first agenda, and that will be clarified itself. Like that will clarify itself. So I believe we can, move ahead with second agenda as has been the flow of the session.
Ms. Bean, just to clarify, so we appreciate completely the offer being made from the other side as well, and I believe we're just two different islands needing a bridge to connect in relation to the number itself, and I think that bridge itself could be the collaborative effort. So while we are open to engaging in discussions about collaborations, I believe the numbers should be kept in mind so as to bring the two islands closer together.
Yes, I completely agree.
Please go ahead, Ms.
Right.
Yosa.
Right. So I hear your offer, Robert, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So you're looking to collaborate on a commission-based project, am I right? Or so you're looking to buy virtual pieces of land and bring in your users, your clients into our platform. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. So what I think we can do is the difference that we require right now in the compensation is 0.7 million US dollars, right? So the cost of you acquiring one more virtual land parcel can be adjusted this exact amount. So this can cover any opportunity cost that SDATX is seeking. Just to clarify, what we are trying to see is we are trying to bridge the gap here, as Olivia just stated, by offering a land parcel at the value of 0.7 million that is remaining, and you can buy it, and I guess we can go ahead with the commission-based project. Yeah, at a discounted price, and the discount rate is 0.7 million US dollars. But at the same time, we would like to renegotiate the commission rate, if that's possible, right? We would like a 40% rate of commission, since, the fact that our platform faced a network congestion speaks volumes for the demand of our virtual land right now. And as you can see, from the table provided in our proposition, this is our, our prices are ever increasing. It is a consistent appreciation in price. So I hope you see the value we are providing. And in fact, we are converting our users into your clients as well. So does that number sound good to you?
So just to sum up
Yes.
what, I'm sorry for interrupting, but just to sum up what the responding party just said, the difference of 2.2 and 1.5 million is 0.7, and they are ready to accept the commission-based business by providing land with a discount of 0.7 million and at a commission rate of 40%.
And just to add to that,
Yes.
to clarify my user's interest here, so we both are on the same page that we have accepted that we can offer a refund of 1.5 million US dollars, and I think that is a decided thing at today's table. Are we on the same page?
Yes, the
I believe
0.7 is the opportunity loss that you're ready to give to the other party. The 1.5 is set aside as compensation, and 0.7 is the discount on the land parcel that you're ready to offer.
Exactly. Yes, and I just want to see clarification if Olivia and Robert have accepted that this is what is going. This is finalized, right? The 1.5 million US dollars.
Olivia, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for that summary. I believe it briefs up the discussion and helps me respond in a point-wise manner as well. In relation to the question being asked, I believe 1.5 can be the base amount, but that is subject to how we bridge the gap as well. So me agreeing to the 1.5 is obviously conditional on how we can bridge the gap. And I thank you for the offer with regards to the 0.7 being bridged in such a manner. But there are a few questions that we wanted to know, because since we will be bringing our clients onto the platform, and having considered the experience that we had in relation to the network congestions, the gas price getting spiked up, us on behalf of our clients also wanted to ensure that such network congestions would not happen again when we engage in their sale as well. So if you could just clarify on whether or not such network congestion issues have been resolved or not, and perhaps then I could talk a bit more about if 0.7 or if 60-40 split or a 70-30 split would be the appropriate amount. But before engaging in such discussion, we just wanted to know a bit more about the technical aspects and making sure that the glitches that occurred and I faced personally would not happen to my future clients as well, who will be engaging me and trusting me again to essentially invest in your platform as well. I think Robert can go over the exact technicalities of the same.
Right. So I believe Olivia has already mentioned that we are in synchronization with the offers. However, our concern is still on the basis of, technical issues that happened, right? Because it was quite shocking. The nature of the technical glitch was quite shocking to us, taking into account Meta as a huge giant in the field of metaverse. So we'd like to know from you as to what are the sort of precautions that you are taking in order for timely communication of such a glitch, or to even avoid such a glitch in the first place, whether it's with regards to network congestion or any other, substantial obstacles that come in the way of a successful auction. In addition to everything, the 1.5 million US dollars that we have, reached the number to, we would also like to seek an agreement that both the parties are here to close arbitration as well, since it is a very, very time consuming process, lengthy, and, in business, time is the essence, right? So we would like to ask your say on the same. Thank you.
Yes, I hear you both, Robert and Olivia. And while I do believe this is a legitimate concern, I am afraid that this is a self-executing contract process that is on our platform, right? So while now we're taking more initiative on informing our auctioneers about the exact technical details of how it works, it will still be dependent on the amount of gas that you provide. So to make it very simple, it's like when a lot of devices are connected on one Wi-Fi system, it needs more electricity to work or for all devices to work properly, right? So that doesn't mean that that one device will go off. It's all dependent on the gas units that we put in and that the user puts in. But I do understand your concern at the same time. And the initiative that we're taking right now is to have a meeting before the actual auction takes place with all the bidders, explaining to them how to exactly estimate the amount of gas that they need to put in. And also, I'd just like to make, one point here that this was our first auction. And we were very fortunate to receive the number of bids that we did, but now we know that we are wanted. So yeah, so rest assured that this will be a smooth process next time. Now, David, would you like to address something? And I just wanted to provide a clarification on the issue with respect to the arbitration proceeding. We want to reiterate that we are very pleased to be in this mediation session because I already said that we both recognize that we want it to be time efficient and cost effective. But our priority here is to mitigate the concerns that are arising within our company, Yosa, because of the ongoing dispute between Metaterrain and StateX LLC. And that is the reason I just mentioned that if in the forehand, this mediation is not able to succeed, we would still be looking at the option of having the ongoing parallel arbitration proceeding. So we can definitely take a decision on it as we see whether we have confidence in what we are trying to do here. But please be rest assured that you and that we both will try to make to let this be an amicable solution. And I just had one question from my side. Uh, I think Yosa had certain concerns with respect to something that is arising from the ongoing dispute between both the parties. And I wanted to ask that there were certain rumors about a deflection of one of our core team members from our company to your company. And we wanted to know if that is true or you had any information with you about it.
Hi, am I audible? Yeah. Thank you, Yosa and David, for the clarification issued. I'm slowly starting to understand in relation to how the gas prices work, and I think having a meeting beforehand would definitely help me and my clients to help understand the schematics of the auction process and help perhaps put in better resources, the gas units, I think they're called, to be put in place before the auction begins. In relation to the same, is it possible if we were to engage an independent review of the gas mechanism so we can uh, understand better if the network congestion is something that can be entirely avoided within the TerraNet system, or is it something that it's something for the clients to regulate or not? And in relation to the same, perhaps we could install digital traffic controllers. I think Yosa is the better person to answer these questions. And even I'm unsure of the technicalities of the same, but that is what I'm looking to see clarifications on to better understand that these network congestions are something that can be avoided. Perhaps limiting the amount of bidders could be an answer, closing off the area so that resources are allocated equally. I'm just throwing ideas on the wall right now, and I wish for user to come back and tell me more about the technicality so that we can avoid such a situation for my prospective clients as well in relation to bridging the gap to 2.2 million and the zero point 0.7 that remains with us. So I think engaging on that front as well would be essential. I think Robert would be going over the technicalities and schematics of the same in a minute. But before that, I also wanted to, I think, respond to David's question regarding a market rumor. I think I'm unsure of the rumors itself uh, and what nature are they in, and therefore I'm unsure of the uh, nature of the rumors itself. In relation to the same, I believe, I think uh, once we hear from Yosa, I think we can take a short uh, caucus with Tony and Miss Payne to help guide our solutions down and perhaps be better able to structure our discussions in relation to first bridging the gap and then talking about the prospective collaborations as of this point as well. Robert, could you go over the schematics, over the clarifications we see?
Right. So I believe Olivia has clearly stated the sort of collaboration, the sort of, technical guidelines that we would like Meta-Terrain to issue in order to avoid any such, glitch that happens, because we are not here to look for a short-term dispute resolution, right? We are here for a longer, lengthier, and a fruitful relationship in the future as both the parties partnership. For the same, we would like I think Olivia has mentioned, like installation of digital traffic controllers, because we believe such technology with digitalization and blockchain technology specifically, because it's immutable and it's irreversible, it will really enable the clients to have some clarity and avoid any such obstacle with regards to the same, in case, like, because the world of digitalization is extremely vast, and there is a lot of ambiguous gray spaces. So for the same, if we could have third party auditing, with regards to any, like, a set of technical team experts assigned to combat every issue, that would be so helpful. And yeah, we would like to hear from Ms. Yuza their opinion.
Before we move ahead, I believe a lot of things have been kept on the table right now. We're just switching from one point to another, and that is why I believe we have hit a roadblock right now. And to clear all of the air, I think we should move ahead with the caucus, as I think it is needed for both of the parties, the requesting and the responding, both of the parties. So will it be okay if, like, will the responding party, Miss Yoza, be fine with if we move ahead with the caucus with Miss Olivia and Mr. Robert first, and then go ahead with you?
While I would like to do that, Christina, there's some responses and clarifications that I'd like to provide. And then we can move on to the private session that we have some concerns to discuss with the mediators as well.
Sure, sure.
All right. So I heard, Olivia, that you come with a lot of ideas and solutions that I myself was going over, right? For educating the clientele of real estate about certain nits and grits of the virtual platform. So blockchain technology is a very new concept to traditional brick and mortar businesses like you. So I think what will help us here is your training and education initiative. How about we partner in that initiative? And I'm sure your ideas and our cutting edge technology and expertise in this field will help uh, educate these, similar business models to venture into our space as well. And I think since you are willing to buy virtual land in our space, that will increase your client base. So while we're willing to do that, I think we also require a caucus right now to discuss certain matters with the mediators.
So in response to what the requesting party had just clarified, it's about training and educating, being in a partnership in the educational sector, because both of the expertise of both the parties will come together to further enhance. And like you said about the buying of plots, land plots in the virtual land, it will increase the client rate for requesting party as well. So I think it's time we do caucus, because both the parties are in need of a private meeting with the mediators.
I think, Tony, we can just reframe the last offer to holding a training session between both parties. I think that would be fair.
I request the room managers to kindly pause the time until the responding party leaves the room, because it will be a waste of time for us then. I think we can move ahead with the caucus. The party has left the room. So first of all, I'd just like to reiterate the insider confidentiality as we had mentioned earlier. Nothing will be discussed with the other party unless you give us the specific permission to do it. Now you may begin. Please speak freely, whatever you have in your mind.
Thank you, Ms. Payne. Thank you, Tony, for responding to our request for a private caucus. I believe we needed the same to, I think, convey a few pointers so that you may guide us in the discussions henceforth. We also wanted to acknowledge your efforts during the session itself for making it a comfortable environment for us to speak our mind. I think that has taken us quite a bit far from where we had originally started. Robert and I are grateful for your efforts and will continue being grateful for today's and any future sessions that may be needed as well. In relation to why we called for a private meeting with you, was one, the fact that while 1.5 million has been agreed upon, there is still a bridge that is needed to be crossed. In relation to the same, I believe one of the primary interests for us beyond 1.5 million is a strategic partnership and closing the arbitration proceedings. I think that is something Robert can dwell on in a minute. However, having said that, uh, this bridge that needs to be crossed must be discussed as well. And while I understand that the other side raised some points about market rumors, what I'm about to mention is a bit confidential. So yes, there have been some conversation with senior members from the other side as well. But at the same time, we're not in a position to disclose this to the other party as it will adversely or member in question. As a company, we want to protect and keep acquiring talent. And I think that was simply part of the process in relation to the same. That being made part of the proceedings today, I think would not be the most appropriate of forum, since we are here to resolve our issues in relation to what happened during the auction process and to build future partnerships as well. So having said that, I'd like to first bridge the gap in relation to first going over technical partnerships, the commission rate that we mentioned and the discount that was offered. And then secondly, as an equally essential element being closing of the arbitration proceedings. These two being very important to us as of this juncture. And later, if time permits and in future sessions, we'll be happy to discuss the collaborative efforts and any other solutions that may be offered to us. As we have already mentioned, we're here for the long term. And we want to hear the other side as well as to any other solutions that maybe perhaps provide more incentives to me and my clients uh, as well. So I think that's an avenue we want to keep open and keep discussing. However, I think Robert can now talk more about the importance of why closing the arbitration would be important for us from a technical and financial standpoint.
I just have one quick clarity before Mr. Robert begins. As you mentioned that $1.5 million has been reached. So do you accept the offer if the bridging of the gap is sufficiently given to you as you had expected? So do you expect accept the $1.5 million offers because at the start the Miss Yoza had mentioned that they had earlier offered you $1.5 million in form of 300,000 Terra tokens, but was rejected by you. So at this juncture, do you accept that offer if the bridging of the gap is sufficient to your needs?
So firstly, we'd like to, I think, clarify in relation to the timeline itself. We did not reject it when it was offered to us, but much later when it was communicated to us that the gas issue was primarily the one to be blamed. But leaving those facts aside, I think 1.5 million is a sum that we can be happy about. If there is something in addition to bridge the gap, those being the 0.7 million discount and the 70-30 split or a 60-40 split that is also open for negotiation, and essentially closing the arbitration proceedings. So the number is being accepted subject to closing of arbitration and any future collaborations that can help bridge the gap.
I had one more question. As you had mentioned in your handout about training and educational initiatives, that was same mentioned as a response to your question in the earlier, just before we did this caucus. Is there an insider to that about what educational or training initiative do you propose to the other party?
Right. I think what Ms. Yoza also was, I think, attempting to talk about was the fact that my clients come from a brick and mortar business and they don't really understand the schematics of the virtual world. And they might make the same mistakes that we did in relation to allocating resources. So having such educational initiatives, talking to them as a pre-auction process, I think that would be really helpful. And that is something we can work with, provided that the networks are safe and sound. So if technically everything is all right, then both me and Yoza can sit down with the potential clients and help them go over how the auction process exactly works, so that the same mistakes and the same disagreements do not occur over and over again. And both our market positions are also something which is upheld. I think this is a piece of information that can be passed on to the other side as well during this caucus. But I would like at this juncture for Robert to go over the importance of closing of arbitration proceedings, the financial aspects there too, and the other side of collaborations that we were also trying to portray in the session.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you to the mediators. I believe like a private caucus was really important because we were getting stuck at some point of time. There were like innovative ideas being thrown from both the parties. And right, that being said, I would like to focus on our primary interest, which is recovering the funds and taking control of the situation. When I say taking control of the situation, we mean that we are not at all interested towards arbitration because a lot is at stake, like our company's reputation. Because ever since this issue arose, there are a lot of investor underconfidence that's been taking place, which is causing a lot of damage to our company's reputation. And Estate X being a pioneering real estate venture since 2010, we would like to give foremost importance to our company's reputation. That being said, we are, of course, open to collaborative ventures. At the same time, we would like Metaterrain to take up certain initiatives that would not create, like we've already, I think, discussed this in the joint session as well, but just reiterating it. Because things like digital traffic controllers that would enable future harms to be avoided, because real estate ventures are such high stake endeavors that a lot of money is invested, right? Like And we, in fact, lost, as a company, lost a lot of money because the refund has still not been initiated till date. And I believe it's been over a year and 9 months that the refund has still not been initiated. And however, we want to move past this particular dispute, and we seek like a long-term resolution and collaboration. Uh, yes, that being said, lastly, I would just like to mention that I think Olivia said that she would like the market rumors to be in confidence with the mediators. There has been few changes made. However, our core committee members are involved in the same, and in good faith, a company would want their interest to be secured as well, because they are working, and they're not working towards anything negative. They're working towards a positive agenda. So we believe that we'd like to keep that in confidence. That's about it. Thank you.
I think I've
Rob,
gotten a better clarity now about your case. So I think we have been emphasizing the traffic controllers and the issue with the online format that has been happening a lot with the metadata platform. So I think this is the main concern that want to emphasize first about the collaborations and all. I think, and will you be fine with bringing this up, with us bringing this up with the other party?
I believe a primary focus as of this point could be closing the arbitration proceedings, that being our primary
Okay.
interest. The initiatives that we mentioned, I think that is something for Yosa to take into consideration. And I think she acknowledged that these
Yes.
steps is something that she was imploring herself. So I think that is something that the company and us can discuss later when we do get into the educational initiatives as well. I think when we
Okay.
do start talking about the initiatives, then we can further expand on this. But as of this point, I think focus should be arbitration and bridging the monetary gap.
All right.
So is there anything
Uh,
other than the rumors that you want to keep confidential from the other party?
Uh, the I'm not sure what the question is about.
Is there
So
anything you do not want us to reveal to the other party other than the rumors that has been circulating around?
you can mention to the other side regarding the educational initiatives that we are open to the same. You may also talk to them about the fact that 1.5 is an agreed amount, subject to closing of arbitration and subject to building uh, the monetary bridge. So I think these two pieces of information, Robert, can you just confirm if you're legally sound on revealing this information to them?
I believe that shouldn't be a problem, Olivia. And except for the market confidence, I believe that sounds good, because that'll help us collaborate and reach to a common grounds, because both the parties are wanting, to pay for the compensation as well as collaborate. Yeah.
I think we have gotten a good hang of your case now, and I think with this we can end the caucus and start the caucus with the party.
Thank you to both of you for being so open to us and open-minded with discussions.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would you like us to leave at this point?
You can stay till the
Yes.
responding party enters, and I would request the room manager to kindly pause the time while we enter and exit the room.
This time is well utilized to drink water by all the four of us right now.
Are we audible? Hello?
Yes, you're audible, but can you please turn your cameras on?
Yeah, our cameras are on.
Is it an issue at my end, or are they not visible to everybody here?
I think the moderator
Yeah,
needs
there
to
is some.
hit the.
Yes, there's some technical issue, I believe. I would request the moderator to kindly pause the time, because we don't want a loss of time for everybody here.
Can you just know if the issue is for everybody? Are we still not visible?
Yes, you're visible now, but I believe there is some video glitch at your end, which can you can change the Wi-Fi network for you, I believe. Is it the same for you as well, Miss Tony, or is it just me that I'm facing some glitch in seeing the video?
Now I can see them clearly. Earlier, they were not visible to me. I
Yes,
think now
they're
it is
clearly
visible
visible
because
now.
they're pinned
Yes,
right
yes.
now to this main screen.
Right.
Is
I
that
think we
good?
can, yeah, it's perfect. I think we can begin with the caucus now, and I think the other parties have left the room as well. So yeah,
The
please begin.
technical
And
glitches are very frequent, and all we can do is adapt.
yeah, exactly. Technicalities give us opportunities as well as difficulties, right? Yes. We may begin with our caucus. I would just like to reiterate the insider confidentiality. We would not discuss anything with the other party unless you give us the specific permission to do this. And yeah, with this, you can, open freely with us and tell whatever concerns you have.
Thank you so much, Christina. So we'll be very straightforward and dive straight into our concerns in this session, right? So in interest of having an open conversation, I'd like to reveal to you that one of our employees, a key member, to be specific, our technology officer from Meta Terrain, has been missing from work. And we have received the news that he may be joining StateX in the meantime. So, as I've stated in my opening remarks, I've built this company from scratch. And there are a lot of innovations, algorithms, codes that have taken years to develop. Right. And this information is very important for us to protect. And our interest today is to resolve this issue between both parties. While I'm not sure if Olivia is aware of what is happening right now, but this is something concerning the reputation and, in fact, the growth of our business. So, if David, you'd like to add
So
anything?
add on to that. So what we really are looking for here is that we cannot go ahead with any collaboration with StateX LLC without actually seeking a clarification on this concern. So although we are very open to wanting to collaborate with StateX LLC, this is one of the major barriers. And what we propose is something that could actually try to solve this barrier is we want a non-disclosure agreement to be signed by our chief technical officer if he were to deflect to StateX LLC. And signing of that would let us be assured that Ms. Yoja's inventions and whatever technologies that are there in Mediterranean would be safe from proliferation in the market. You have anything else to add?
No, I think you've summed it up well. But one concern stated, we come here with a concern as well as an offer. So I see that Olivia is very aware of the ground realities that businesses that are not aware of blockchain technology are facing, and they want to venture into our world but are unable to because of being unaware of these technologies. So I am willing to take in Miss Olivia as a technology partner in our company. We don't want to look at them as just participants, buyers of our land. We want continued profitable partnership from StateX, and therefore we're willing to provide the position of a technology partner at at a 10% equity stake if they're amenable to it. And together we can train and educate potential businesses who'd like to venture into our platform. So if this is done, if these concerns, if my concerns about, my employees leaving my company and divulging information is solved, I think this will renew my faith in this mediation process, and we can start, we can put an end to the legal proceedings that are going on.
So just to sum it up for clarity, it's a 3-point vision that we have. Firstly, sign an NDA with respect to the officer that is leaving from our company to the other company. If that agreement is signed, it would renew our faith in the fact that STATX is actually looking for us to collaborate with each other. And if that happens, we can put this offer of technological partnership on the table. And that would mean, finally, that is the third point, renewing our faith in the mediation process, and we would be willing to put an end to the ongoing parallel arbitrations. I hope that's clear to the mediators.
Indeed, it
Yes,
is.
it is. Thank you for being so open and giving such creative solutions.
Yes, right. And I would just like to mention that the offer that you had given for 1.5 million, we will also be discussing in the joint session as well. It was accepted by the other party, Ms. Olivia and Mr. Robert. However, they had certain reservations regarding, like they were ready to accept this only after certain bridges were met for the remaining amount of 0.7 million. And I believe you have put even new offers for them right now. So would you just be fine with us discussing this NDA that you sought to achieve from the leading CTO that you had to the other party?
Yes, certainly, because we are here to have honest conversations, right? And we
Right.
would be okay with them knowing what's going on.
All we ask for, though, that should not be divulged, just to make it clear to the mediators, is you can talk about the deflection, but let's just not take names here, like the chief technical officer, because we are aware of who the same is. So if we can avoid names, I think it would be fair enough that we can divulge the details.
So other than names, is there anything else you want to keep confidential from this?
I think I can give a summary of what we want to divulge. First, the NDA with respect to the section. Second, our offer if the NDA is signed, the fact that it restores our faith. And thirdly, an end to the arbitration if this happens.
And-
Also, we do stand by the refund of 1.5 million US dollars and the discount that we were going to provide to cover that bridge, to bridge that gap.
Just to confirm the discount of 0.7 million?
Yes.
And
And also, I
technology,
just, yeah, please go ahead. So sorry for
technology
that.
partnership of 10% equity.
Yes, dependent on the signing of an NDA by any employee that deflects
Yes.
from our company.
Please continue, Ms. Christina.
Yeah, so I just had one more clarity. I just wanted one more clarity. They had also mentioned 30% of the brokerage or the commission that they were offering. What are your takes on that?
I think we would like to hear some more details on that, Yosa.
Yeah, but we did counter offer with 40%, and think this is our counter offer, and we were expecting their reply. I think we can do that in the joint session.
All right, so I think we can end the caucus with this right now. We have gotten a really good hang of your case and we have understood your concerns way better. I think we can begin with the joint session and I'll bring all of the points together because there are a lot of scattered points on the table right now. So
Thank
I request the room manager to kindly pause the time till the other party enters. Hello parties, welcome back to the joint session. We can resume the joint session now. So I would just like to, summarize and bring everything together because I think there has a lot of things that have been kept on the table. So first of all, I'll explain the side from the requesting side on what all they want to achieve from this mediation. So first of all, they had agreed upon $1.5 million of refund only on certain reservations that they had. And the reservations are two. First of all, they wanted the commission rate and the brokerage offer that they had given. So they were ready to, discuss further upon whether it should be a 70-30 split or a 60-40 split, which is under deliberation as has been accepted by the responding party as well. And the second most important concern for them was the closing the arbitration, the parallel arbitration going on. So these are the two important concerns. If these are clarified, they are accepting the $1.5 million offer. Now, from the responding party side,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think you missed a point about open to educational initiative that they responded to.
Yes, thank you so much for adding that, Miss Tony. That was an important point indeed. So that being the third point. So this
Please
is
go ahead with the
the
responding part.
yes, this was the important case from these requesting parties, and get a good hang of your chairs because there has been a lot of things put by the responding parties as well. I'll just like to quickly summarize. They had a lot of concerns regarding the rumors that they had mentioned. And according to that, they are expecting a non-disclosure agreement by the leaving party, like the party that is leaving their company, and the rumors that that they are joining your company, EstateX. So they require a non-disclosure agreement signed by this person. And after that, like they have given a very good chain of events that they would like to, put forward to the parties. So after the signing of the non-disclosure agreement, if they get a non-disclosure agreement signed, they would also like to take Miss Olivia in as a technological partner in their company, which brings them to the third point, which is like they would take in Miss Olivia as a technological partner with a 10% of equity stake. So I have clarified the issues from both of the sides to each other. Now it is upon you to deliberate on what you accept and why you accept. Thank you
And
so
there
much.
still lies the offer that was previously placed about accepting the 1.5 million to give
Yes.
them back, and the discount of 0.7 million is still on the table.
Yes, indeed. Is there
Just
anything
to
else,
clarify,
Ms. Tony, would you like to add?
please.
Sorry, the voices were clashing. Can you please repeat?
Oh, sorry. I was just asking whether you want to add anything else in the discussion that I just mentioned.
No,
All
no.
right.
Only the
You may proceed.
non-disclosure agreement would renew faith to the responding party, because there has been a lot of
Mediation,
technological
yes.
investment, as they mentioned earlier. So please go ahead.
Tony and Christina, thank you so much for putting that information on the table. I think it has helped both parties. I just wanted to add one more little piece of information because I think it is vital to both the parties' interests here. That the faith that it would create with respect to the signing of the NDA and the partnership would renew our faith in this mediation process. And that would mean we have an intention to put an end to the arbitration proceeding, because I thought that was an important point to protect the interests of
Both the
user.
parties, yeah.
Yeah. So if that been taken into consideration.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you so much for
sorry for
adding
missing
that.
that point. I was about to say
Yeah,
the
yeah.
renewing faith in mediation while I
Thank
set
you
up
so much for adding
technology.
that. Yes.
Yes.
The parties may begin with their negotiations now because you have a lot to discuss now.
Correct. Thank you so much, Ms. Payne, for the precise summary of our primary interest. And thank you, Tony, for going over the schematics of our discussions henceforth. And thank you so much, Yosa and David, for taking into account our interests as well. We are extremely grateful for that. And we see and are currently, we just wanted to better understand the offer on the table from your end. Uh, so there was a mention of an NDA being signed by your employee in relation to a rumor that has been circulating. I wanted to better understand how we would be involved in the same, since it's currently your employee, and the fact that it's a rumor as of this stage. I fail to understand my role in the NDA. So could you please go over the same and help me better understand in relation to the offer of a technical collaboration? I believe Robert and I were discussing the same with our board earlier as well, that that is something we want to work on. And as previously mentioned, we had a couple of ideas in relation to how we can better demonstrate to our clients that yes, the gas system is perfect to handle the spikes, and that clients are can be more uh, initiated and talk to better explain the gas spikes and how the network congestion actually occurs. I think that is an insight that can be built very strongly with the technical collaboration as well. So that is something we are open to. In relation to the 10% equity, we needing to go over the investment agreements of our investors with your investors, and that is something that will need a lot more time. And I think that is something we are open to as well, and subject to discussion in future mediation sessions. As of this point, though, we are ready to accept the 1.5 million as a compensation as well, but it's important for us to close down the arbitration proceeding. It's taking a lot of my business resources which were already locked up, and resources which have already been spent on arbitration as well. So I think that being, if that can be achieved and as a commitment that be made, I'd be happy to go back to my board and Robert can look through all the investment agreements and check for the veracity of the 10% equity, whether we'll be willing to invest or not. But technical collaboration is something I am up for, and I am something very open to. I think educational initiatives is also something we've agreed to. In addition to the same, if you could talk a bit more about the NDAs, that will help us take the conversation forward. And then on, we can perhaps close the bridge in relation to the monetary compensation as well. Robert, did you want to add something?
No, thank you so much, Olivia. I feel like we would like to know from David and Yuda what is their understanding of, about the deal that we have made so far.
Sure. Thank you, Olivia, for telling me, your interests so elaborately. That really helps me understand where you're coming from and where we're headed. So, Olivia, I don't want you just as a participant or merely as a buyer in my platform, right? As Robert said, today we're looking to have a continued profitable relationship. So, therefore, I presented the offer for you to become a technology partner in our business because I see that you have the ground knowledge of the difficulties that our potential users and buyers are facing in adapting to the blockchain technology. So, I think together with our resources integrated, we can really profit from this venture. Right. So, yes, we can go over the investment agreement details in further mediations, but know that this is a really profitable venture for both of us in the future. Now, my primary concern, however, today is that due to this ongoing dispute, like I've mentioned before, internal discords have arisen, and potentially some of my employees are rumored to be a part, to be a future part of your company. Now, while that may or may not be true, I want an assurance from Estatex that, let's say that happens, an NDA is signed between that employee who will in the future be your employee and our company Metaverse. So if I have that assurance, right, I believe that we can put an end to this arbitration and save time and cost for both our companies. Then moving on to our discussions on the refund. So, like I've said before, we're willing to bridge the gap of $0.7 million through selling you a virtual piece of land at a 40% commission rate. I want you to consider certain alternative offers, if you're still not satisfied on that gap being bridged. So, what we are trying to do here is that we give you advertisement rights on that virtual piece of land at a very discounted rate. And this will help all the users that we bring into the platform turn into or convert into your clientele. So, is that something you'd like to consider? And plus, David, I think you'd like to go over some details. Right. And just to sum up for the sake of both the parties here, what we're offering is simple. We recognize that losses have occurred from both parties, but we have certain outstanding concerns that we need to solve immediately. So if the person does deflect to your company, we just want a non-disclosure agreement to be signed between your company and the deflected employee that none of the information from our company will be shared in the market or in your company. And in return for that, what we are offering is this. First, a refund of 1.5 million US dollars as already agreed with both the parties. Second, a discounted rate of 0.7 million US dollars for a land parcel, which I believe would be sufficient to bridge the gap. But echoing Yosa's concerns, if it is not able to, then we will be thirdly licensing our advertising rights in the western region of Metaverse from which would lead to an inflow of money into your company. And since you said that you have a cash crunch, I think you would be able to benefit from that. All these only show our commitment that if we are able to gain our faith that you are able to work with us, we would be willing to put an end to the ongoing parallel arbitration proceedings. I hope that's clear. Thank you so much, David.
First and foremost, thank you so much for the clarification and the potential offers on the table. I think all of them are too lucrative for me to choose from. So I think that's a happy conversation to have and a happy position to be in. But in relation, and I've gone over the numbers as well with Robert, I think it's okay for us to close the compensation at 1.5 million being the cash amount, 0.7 being the discount amount, and 60/40 being the split for the potential sale, as and when me and my clients have been briefed and the educational initiatives. I think that will bolster confidence not only in me, but also my clients as well. So I think that bridge can be locked down and sealed, subject to closing of the arbitration proceedings. Now, what still I'm a little bit unclear on, and I understand that is essential for your interest as well, is the NDA. I am unsure if any such market rumors, even if through my HR managers are constantly on the lookout. We are a well-established firm, 14 years in the business. Obviously, we're looking for the best in the business. So if our firm has approached someone from your company, I believe it's upon such an employee to sign an NDA. Are you asking us to force them to sign an NDA? It's a bit unclear as to what my role would be in signing such an NDA. Do you wish to engage in an NDA between us that we don't share information outside as to what we learn about your tech platform? I think that is something that we are amenable to, since we are willing to be a partner in your business. So if that is the requirement of the NDA, I think that Robert would be the best person to talk about the legalities of. But from a business perspective, I am totally understandable of the same. I also would not like my business ideas and potential strategies to get out in the market. So I think if that is the concern, I'm here to ready to commit to the NDA in relation to our companies. But if it's something that you require from the employee, I'm unsure as to what my role would be. So if you could explain the same, and also explain to us your stance on closing the arbitration. I think Robert could talk about the legalities of the NDA. If there was something to add and I missed.
Right. Thank you so much, Olivia. I think Olivia has mentioned the sort of numbers and the deals that we have closed. I'll be putting it in the chat because I don't want to keep repeating the same numbers. However, we would like to know more about the nature of the NDA and the clauses that would be mentioned, because there is still a lot of ambiguity, right? Like, since you mentioned that one of your employees would be leaving your company and joining some other company, like, should the other company be liable to signing an NDA, or whether would it be your company? There was a bit of gap between that. However, I think at the end of the day, we are just looking for a collaborative endeavor, and with the monetary compensation, we just like to close arbitration. So we'd like to know from you what is your opinion on the same.
I believe we don't have enough time to, go about everything again right now. But I would just like to give a quick summary and, conclude this, because as the saying also goes that Rome wasn't built in a day. We have many more days to build our beautiful Rome through this session. So I think we have reached a very good point where both the parties have agreed to very significant points. There are certain points that are to be discussed, which can be taken up in the further mediation session as well. So first of all, the 1.5 million deal has been closed. Both of the parties agree to it. Second, the 0.7 million offer, like the discounted price for a land parcel, has also been accepted by both the parties. With regards to that, addition to it, the 60/40 divide of commission has also been agreed, along with the advertisement rights that Ms. Yoza had offered. That also has been agreed, if I'm not wrong. And with the responding party has suggested that they are ready to close the arbitration proceeding with respect to the the points that I had mentioned before. But I believe the closing of arbitration proceeding is in a bit of contention from the responding party. So I believe this is again a contention that we can discuss in the further sessions. So I would just like to congratulate both the parties, to have successfully agreed to so many points. Ms. Tony, would you have anything else to add?
I think the education initiative that you might have just missed about the acceptance of education and training initiatives that the responding party had proposed has been accepted by the requesting party. And the requesting party still needs a stance on the arbitration, the ongoing arbitration, what the responding party has to say, and a bit more details on the NDA agreement, because what role does Olivia has to play in this process? Is it the person signing it, or is there any forceful way of getting it signed? Is there anything that I said wrong, or do I need to add anything? Please
I
be.
think we have missed one more important point, which was the tech partner, getting Miss Olivia as a technology partner in Mediterranean with 10% equity. I think that is also one issue that we have not, gotten a chance to discuss further. So I have explained the points that we have closed, and I'll give you the points that we haven't closed yet, which will give you a better idea of what you have to discuss in the next mediation sessions. The first one being the non-disclosure agreement and the nature of the non-disclosure agreement and how it will be signed. The second one being the technology partner offer with a 10% equity. You'll have to discuss that further as well. And thirdly, and the most important for both of the parties, was the arbitration closing. And also, you can further deliberate upon the educational and technological initiatives. So with this, I would just like to, the issues that remain unsolved. I think we have had a considerable discussion today, and this would for sure help the parties to start with a bang in the next session. This is because you'll be clear in your heads as to what the other party wants and what more incentives can be brought on the table. And again, the sentence that I mentioned before, Rome wasn't built in a day. We can have further discussions again in the future to find an amicable solution. Thank you so much.
Like mentioned in the opening statement, it was indeed a structured process, and everyone came with an open mind with creative discussions. And I'm very, very thankful to both the parties for being so flexible with all the points that was put forward. It was a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to the mediators as well for helping us steer to this negotiation. Thanks, Olivia. Thanks, Robert, for being so open-minded. Just so that we, go into the next session with clarity, I would like to just put a remark here that the NDA that we're seeking is with you in case our employee joins you. But I'm so glad we've made so much headway, right? And anything you'd like to add in the closing? Yes, definitely. And since that's the final parting thing, I think I would be very interested in sending a draft NDA and agreement to Robert Drew so that we both can, talk about the clauses or any details. And just one thing before I go, we go into the next mediation session, which I'm sure is both, beneficial for both sides. I do not want to use the word force in the next mediation session because that is not serving anybody's interest. With that, I know and I'm confident that this is going to be a fruitful session, and we look forward to your collaboration with us.
Thank you for this wonderful session. All of us have enjoyed the same itself. Now I invite the judges for the briefing room for the deliberation. So judges, please join the same. I believe let's wait for 10 minutes for the judges to have the deliberation at this call. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, judges, for the deliberation. I believe all the judges have joined the main session. Now we can proceed to the feedback.
Yeah, shall I start if no one has a preference? Okay, very good. So welcome back. Thank you very much. Congratulations on an outstanding round. You all were superb. Obviously, the best of the best. That's why you're here in the finals, and it certainly showed. So we have a little bit of feedback. The spirit in which it's given is to try to help you improve. So I hope that's the way you take it. Again, all of you were excellent, and so we're probably picking on you a little bit here, but we'll try to be nice. So let me start with the mediators. So I thought both mediators were quite good. There were a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. One was the opening statement. So generally, we expect to hear about the 5 pillars of mediation. Voluntary, neutral, mediators are neutral, they're impartial, independent, sometimes we hear that. The proceedings are confidential, not only the caucus, but the entire mediation. I did hear someone say, one of the mediators say during the mediation that the caucus was confidential, and that's true, but I think you're missing out on a big point and a big benefit too for when you speak to the parties, because it gives them an opportunity to really appreciate the importance of mediation and the chance to resolve their case. And it may be their only chance. So do keep that in mind. The other pillar is forcible agreements. So you have to have a written agreement, and it has to be signed by all the parties. And the other thing too, I like to do in my mediations is to find out if the parties have full authority to settle. Because I think in the problem, maybe the directors were executive directors rather than full-fledged directors, and the investor really was the one pulling the strings. So I think that would have been a very important thing to find out. But I thought both mediators worked together very well. You complemented each other. The division of work, I think, was quite good and fair. You signposted, so we were able to follow you quite easily. We knew what section of the mediation you were in, I think most of the time. So very good there. Turning to the parties, I thought you all gave a strong opening statement. Both sides, I thought you were clear, concise, and convincing, cogent on both sides. I just wanted to focus a little bit on the negotiations. Looking at the confidential information, it looks like Mediterranean had a ZOPA of 1 to 1.5 million. And the requesting party had a ZOPA of 1 to 2.2 million. So I think Mediterranean, I think you offered too much too quickly right out of the gate. You really didn't leave what we like to say is dry powder. So I think you could have been a little bit more strategic. Trade-offs are important, but I think you could have worked out the compensation, perhaps coming in at a lower number and then working your way up, trying to get a response from the other side. You probably could have resolved it at $1 million, and then you could have saved yourself $500,000. The discount on the property to make up for the difference was a little bit, we might say, pie in the sky. So I think I would have taken the money first and then, express my amenability to work with you in the future. That sort of jumped out at me. So in compensation, offer less money, and perhaps maybe then dangle the pie in the sky and see if they bite on it. Try to have at least a couple of rounds. If you don't come in at a very low or insulting number, you're going to get a response. So I think that was very important. The other thing too is the responding party or the requesting party wanted to close the arbitration. And from what I understood, the requesting party was the one who actually requested the arbitration. So you had an ARB-Med-ARB type of situation. So if you settled the case, then you could go back into the arbitration, have it entered as an award, and your enforceability would have been much broader because almost 190 some countries have signed off on the New York Convention for enforceability of arbitration awards. Whereas the Singapore Convention, a lot of countries still haven't ratified it yet. And there are certain qualifications too. So I think that would strategically have benefited you more. But those were the two big things I saw in negotiation. But overall, I thought you acquitted yourselves quite well, very professional, could see you at the table, and you certainly fit the part. So well done. Keep practicing, keep mediating, keep negotiating. That way you'll get better and better. Thank you very much. All the best. So with that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues.
I don't see anybody else. Oh yeah, that's Josephine.
Go ahead, Mary.
All right, I'll do a quick one. I echo Patrick's views, and I'm sure the ones that are going to be shared by Josephine and Sarah are equally persuasive and extremely important. I will adopt their views as well, even without hearing them. For me, I think it was congratulations to all of you and to the people who support you and help you prepare. I'm so pleased that you at such a young age are adopting mediation. I wish we had thought about it much earlier than going straight to litigation. It really means a lot to ADR that mediation is a first, a last, a first, and a last. It's something that people can come back again and again. I never thought that we could mediate even after, even at appeals stage. I did, and I was successful, and I wasn't successful. Point is that the techniques that you all have practiced, displayed today, eminently good. You have followed the basic techniques. Of course, there is room for improvement, but more important is that you understand the object of mediation, that you may not be able to win at every point, but you can come back and whatever you have, you seal it. And I think the observations of what Patrick made about the New York Convention as opposed to the Singapore Convention are very practical points that you might want to take into practice. For me, the point that I perhaps would like to emphasize is the matter of confidentiality, like Patrick. It is to me very important, and the confidentiality that I would like to emphasize is that you cannot repeat the discussions while you may be able to speak confidently because it's not going to be repeated. I frequently find that people don't understand what that means. And it means that they can't, and the mediation that I frequently did were the mediation in litigation. And that is to warn them that they can't use any detail disclosed during mediation back in the litigation, or in this case, back in arbitration. Sometimes parties plead ignorance as to the meaning of confidentiality. I also, like Patrick, make sure that I've got the right persons in front of me. And I also call off mediation proceedings when I don't have properly cloaked persons authorized before me, seeing those as abuse and mere perfunctory observance of the mediation process. My commendations, or my recommendations rather, to all of you is about the tone. While there is a lot of professionalism in your tone, I think that it should be greater deployment. While you listen, there should be greater deployment and it should be displayed in the tone of voice when you are taking up suggestions, taking up the offers for conciliation, what kind of terms are capable of resolution and settlement. I didn't quite detect that. And I think in this regard, how you tell parties that you are in a very special space is quite important. While you tell them that you make your opening speeches, but it's to remind, I like to tell parties that you're seizing or taking control back of the problem. Well, those are usually my opening words. The lawyers have taken control, the court has taken control, arbitrators as well. But this is the single opportunity where you're taking back control and you now go back to your contracting table and how do you want to put it right? And when I speak to them in that tone, I frequently use first names, make sure that, because that's how usually things would have been done when negotiating. Another point, and I don't want to go on about it, another point that I want to make is the effect of one settlement over another, closing of issues, whether or not is this going to be a make or break point, that if these particular the non-disclosures, if they are not settled, where would it take you? I see what I heard today was that you're going to come back, but sometimes people don't come back. And I like to find out quite clear early whether these are the make or break of the deals, that if you don't have any resolution, that's it, everything goes. Those are generally my observations. Congratulations to all of you, to your respective team, and thank you very much for what a wonderful session. And thank you to my colleagues as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josephine, do you want to go ahead or do you want me to? I think you're on mute.
Please do, Sarah, because I'm just.
Are you okay?
Yeah, please go ahead until I can catch my voice.
Will do, thank you. Firstly, very well done to everybody. It's not an easy thing to do, what you did, and it's easy for us to judge, having years and years of experience. It's a somewhat artificial exercise, and I know you're constrained. And in a real life, if we do have in-person mediations anymore, there's lots of Zooms going on. There's a different atmosphere. So well done there. I echo everything that's already been said by the judges, and I'm not going to repeat those points. I think it's important for the mediators to ensure parties are comfortable. When you're there as a mediator, you need to have the trust and confidence and buy-in of the parties for them to be open, much less formal than it would be in a courtroom. And therefore, I echo what's been said earlier about setting the scene. A good mediator is not going to decide who's right, wrong. They're just bringing the parties together. And when they see there's some movement between the parties where a deal could be closed, they encourage that. So I think you can be slightly bit more interventionist, if you like, rather than just summarize points, because a good mediator will get deals done where parties are kind of, at opposites and preserve the relationship. So I think mediators sometimes can take more of an active role. It is about listening. It is about being showing empathy, but it's also about bringing the parties together. And when you see there is natural synergy, there is natural agreement, that should be closed, and that's a good mediation. I think in terms of from the council perspective or the negotiators' perspective, again, I echo what's said earlier. Don't give your game away too early. I think we have bands of what we were able to negotiate, settle in. I always go in low and know that there's wiggle room to come up, and that's an effective negotiation. I think you were articulate. I think you were well kind of posed. There was nothing I particularly found inappropriate about use of language, about being able to follow you, about the way you presented yourselves. Nobody really interjected and cut each other off. I saw good team collaboration on both sides, which was nice to see, because I think that's important as well in terms of effective kind of mediation or effective negotiation skills. You listened, you responded. There's naturally going to be, your students have moved as you progress and you do them in real life. There's naturally you're going to learn. But I echo what's been said earlier in terms of, I think the building blocks are there. I think they're excellent kind of starts. So well done to you all. It is unfortunate, we have a winning and a losing side, if you like, or I like to call it the first among equals. So don't be disheartened, any of you who are not on the side that wins. It doesn't. I'm sure it's a matter of just very, very little between you, because you all were very impressive. In fact, some of the skill sets that were shown, I wish were shown in real life in some of the mediations or activities we get involved in. So well done.
Thank you, Sarah, for saving me. I just went to a coughing fit there, but my share of the feedback, the caliber of all participants is above par. You're even much better than actual mediators. I've worked as a mediator for 40 years in Australia, and including with that the last 10 years, almost 12 years as an international mediator, means cross-border. So I'd like to share, I know this is a learning or an educational exercise, so I am 100% sure you will be participating more international competitions within your country and outside. So, but you are all excellent speakers, eloquent. You also have a good pace, tone, and delivery of whatever message you're doing. You are very clear in expressing your interest and your needs. I have no doubt that you would be excellent in whether your role as a mediator or as a negotiator or as a counsel. You will do a great job on it. And eventually, when you practice the profession, I do hope and see and would one day meet you in international conferences that you are practitioners of ADR, not just as litigators or arbitrators. Well, still ADR. Let me start first with the mediators. Both have excellent skills, listening, paraphrasing, summarizing, and everything. I concur with the other judges, though, because as a mediator, you're a facilitator. So yes, it's not just summarizing, but it's rapport building. You need to actually gain the trust, the relationship, because mediation is so different to arbitration and other adversarial way or court process. You want the parties relaxed. You want the parties to let down, to be able to do their problem solving, their option gaining. But there is a process. So it's good you are articulate, but it's also important that as a mediator, you follow the mediation process. And I'm sure you all know through your coaches and also your experience, because you're now in the finals, that you did follow them. And do follow, I'm just giving this advice on Christina, where you do, it would be good to say when after you were involving all parties when you were doing the agenda setting together with your co-mediator. However, when you try to open them to start the exploration or information gathering, you said something great. Let's begin. Parties, please go ahead with your negotiations. So try to avoid that, because you are actually making them that last part, which usually happens after post-caucus, where they actually negotiate the terms. Remember, some judges were saying it's too early. So let them explore, find, okay, which one of these you want to start, yes, or you stick to the agenda. You're also both very good where when you see that they're just going around. Christina, you were excellent when you said, how about moving on to the next list on the agenda? That's excellent work as well. So another thing I'd like to praise you as well is where I noticed during the private session, you actually have a checklist, or I can't remember now if it was the private or post-caucus, where you actually have a checklist. And that's a good sign of a mediator, because between the exchanges that were happening, you were having a list of what each party needs, and you put that across, which is an excellent skill. Tony, let me get back to you now. You were one of those mediators that first time in all competitions where you actually said, when you prompted the party to do their opening statements, you said a very simple way. It says, what prompted you, and what would you like to achieve today at this mediation? Very simple words, but exactly also encouraging them to make it brief. But you didn't say that, but what prompted you, or what would you like to achieve today at this mediation, is you are actually asking them to make it brief, just exactly what would you like to achieve today? And that should really prompt parties. But what's another excellent skill of yours, Tony, is you use their first name. If you were not using their first name, you were using their company's name. Contrary to Christina, you were using responding party, requesting party. You only use Christina one time, someone's name, but never during the whole course of the mediation did you ever address them by their first name. And I hope you will take that on board as a prescription, that you will, as a mediator, or even as you're one of the council owning, use the first names of the parties. To the negotiating parties, excellent. What can I say? You actually were very focused, very good at information gathering. But again, like Patrick said, making offers too early, whether that was the council or the thing, try to follow the mediation process. Another thing too, where points are usually sometimes deducted, is when you see on the chat time's up, also use that as like an ending thing, or don't go past beyond it, because you are sometimes taken off a little bit. I don't know. I mean, this is another competition, but try to stick to the time frame as well. The parties are very good at trying to gather as much information. They also did was you were trying to find some underlying issues, and you're very good at that. It's very important that you find out what's behind the thing. So what was prompting. So there was active listening, especially on the teamwork. I think that was between David and Yoza. There was excellent teamwork as well. Olivia, with her counsel, you always use the terminology, semantics, and technicalities, because you were prompting your counsel to speak on your behalf. However, also try to avoid a little bit the niceties, always saying thank you, and you mentioned their name. But in real mediation, and even if it's a mediation competition, you go right to the grain. I mean, they call it, there was one Pakistan arbitrator who at the conference did say, I go there, like a bull, but come out as there was an expression, but go right into the nitty gritty. Try to remove a little bit the niceties. I know maybe it's part of the coaching thing, but that's the reality of mediation. But otherwise, you are all excellent speakers. You know the mediation properly. Well, the mediation session, I am 100% sure I will see you either in Paris or Vienna or other parts of the world as competitors. Well done. I will call you champion because you're in the final round. Excellent. That's That's me. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges and the participants. Now we would be seeing the participants in the valedictory ceremony, and the judges are free to leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
so
Thanks,
much.
Mark.
Thank you very much and all the best.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much,
Very good.
judges.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
luck.
for the feedback.
Thank you.
Have we completed all the time that is allowed to give feedback? Does the teams have any questions to their judges or feedbacks? Would they want? Is there time or there's no more time?
Ma'am, there is time. If the participants have any questions for the judges or any concern, they are free to ask.
I just had a small question regarding the application of the New York Convention in relation to settlement and our request for closing the arbitration. I think the angle that we were coming from was to get a commitment on the books for mediation and then be able to proceed with the procedural aspects of trying to go back to the arbitration and submit it before the arbitrators. So I just wanted to analyze if and we are often advised that we should stop engaging with the law substantively when we enter the mediation room. So we wanted to understand how do we I understand the place that would have perhaps could have been more clear as to how to ask for closing of arbitration. But I just needed your advice on the same as to how to bring it forth in a non-legal fashion.
And actually, to add to that question, at the same time, how to do the opposite, because we wanted arbitration.
Okay. Okay. So in competitions around the world, I do hear judges saying that you can bring the law into the discussion. You don't want to be pedantic. You don't want to be confrontational. But the law is there, and objective criteria is one of the things that I think all of you are aware of. It can give you strength in your negotiations. You can point to, let's say, cost of living index or something they could give you. So that would be objective criteria. And the reason, and you could just suggest, say, look, we're close to settlement, or we've settled, resolved the case, and so we'd like to go ahead and confirm or convert the agreement into an award. That would be to all of our benefit. You could sell it. Remember, mediation, negotiation, there's a persuasive aspect to it. So you are trying to persuade from the very beginning, from hello, to the niceties, to your opening statements, all the way to the end. Always persuasion. So then to answer your question, the reason you would want, as a requesting party too, you would want to keep the arbitration there until the end, until you dotted all your I's, crossed your T's, everybody has signed off on the agreement, because that creates an incentive. And until you're facing a trial date or an arbitration date, a lot of people will just play games, or they won't take the matter seriously. But when they know they're going to be facing the music in a proceeding, it really gives you a better opportunity to settle the case. I see that in all court-connected mediations, MSCs. I do MSCs. I do voluntary settlement conferences, and the fact that there's a trial pending, either the same day or within a week, really incentivize the parties to sit down and in good faith and to make their best effort to put their best foot forward to try to settle the case. So you want to keep the arbitration there until you have resolved the case, or if it's a trial. So you wouldn't dismiss the trial and then continue to mediate. So you wouldn't dismiss the arbitration and continue to mediate, especially if you didn't have an agreement. They could just walk away, and then you may be past a statute of limitations, or maybe a witness, you may lose a witness or a document, or something may change. So you want to keep that going until you've got a firm deal, completely signed, airtight. And if you discussed it during the mediation, then you just confirm the award, and then the proceedings would be closed. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does.
It
May
does.
I-
Thank you.
Yeah, just an update to everyone. There is a big campaign that you're aware of the Singapore Convention on Mediation, that there are 53 countries that are signatory now. Before, agreements made at mediation was goodwill, non-obligatory, non-enforceable unless you make it a basis of your respective counsel or lawyers will lodged to become court orders. However, with the Singapore Convention, mediation agreements are now enforceable, especially if the country is a signatory to that convention. And I believe there's about 53 countries now. So yes, there is actually that thing. So it's important for mediators, and like you said, in future, Phil, I know that is part of the case of that this final round, and that's why it is important. Patrick answered it correctly, but this is the future, and we're actually trying to promote as an educational exercise to promote to our law students that it's going to be mediation agreements are enforceable. Not like we need to depend on the UNCITRAL convention, United Nations Convention. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it and you had fun.
Yes,
Definitely. Thank you so much. And your
Congratulations
insights
again.
specifically
You're all winners.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, take my comments and feedback, Christina, so that you'll remember, avoid using responding party and just use their first names. Okay.
Definitely, ma'am. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you.
Take
Thank you.
care,
All the best.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The session has been successfully concluded.